And the legend is, if you say his name 5 times while looking in the mirror, he appears in the reflection and kills you.
Candyman,
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 Candyman, Candyman.
Candyman. Hello and welcome to another episode of Movie Reviews. My name is Daniela.
And I'm Alfonso. Today we're going to review Candyman, directed by Nia DaCosta. She's an up-and-coming director who will be the youngest filmmaker to ever direct a Marvel movie.
Candyman is a sequel to the horror film Candyman from 1992 that returns to the now gentrified Chicago neighborhood where the legend began. Ooh, spooky! So why don't we start by talking about the performances?
Yeah, all right. I think both protagonists were able to do a good job. Yaya Abdul-Mateen and Teyona Paris. I really like the descent into madness of Yaya Abdul. He was able to portray it very well. What did you think?
Yeah, I also liked in specific Yaya's performance. He did a good job. You know, he like really got into character, and I really love this like artist side that he had. I thought overall all the actors in the movie were all right. There wasn't anyone that stood out for me.
Why don't we start right from the beginning of the film? What did you think of the upside down credits?
I love that. It
Yeah.
made me uncomfortable a little bit, you know, like scared in a way, because everything is like from a mirror point of view, right? Like everything is backwards. So I think that was like a really creative way to open the movie. What did you think?
When I first saw Universal upside down, I was like, oh, is there a problem with the projector?
Yeah, me too.
But then I was like, okay, no, of course, it's supposed to be a mirror image.
Yeah.
And I thought it was cool. I like the use of mirrors all throughout the film. I think it was very well used for production design and cinematography.
I think there's always something scary about a mirror. And this movie reminded me of a movie called Mirrors, and it's essentially kind of the same idea. So just having like an image or a second person that it's behind you, it's scary and it creates like an uncomfortable feeling. And I also like the usage of mirrors throughout the movie, and especially there's this one scene when Anthony is in the house of the art critic and he's like looking in the mirror and he's starting to become the Candyman, right? So that scene for me was one of my favorites, I think. I liked a couple of details about the cinematography, but overall there's nothing that stood out for me. Like I really liked that scene where Anthony goes to see his mom. I really like how the hallway is lit, and because it's like a lot of scenes are very dark, like in a dark atmosphere.
I like the cinematography, same as you. Nothing stood out a lot. Something that I liked was, as we were mentioning, the use of mirrors. When Anthony was already becoming Candyman, I noticed that you could see his reflection on a lot of mirrors. And a lot of times it was in broken mirrors or in, you could see like a fragmented Anthony. And I really like that. And something that I didn't like is that they chose to put all the deaths off screen. I didn't find that scary at all. Like it was cool. Like in that scene where all the high school girls die, it was a cool shot underneath the bathroom stall, showing the reflection of the little mirror, but it was not scary at all. So I think it was a lot of wasted potential.
Yeah. I think the only dead that they kind of show was the first one where they're at the gallery, right? The first two guys.
Yeah, which is probably my favorite scene.
Yeah. Something that I really like about the film, it's the puppetry animation. That was one of my favorite features of the film, for sure.
Yeah,
Like, I think
definitely.
that was really creative, and I think that also was kind of like dark, and the puppetries were a little bit scary. So I really like that.
It was a very unique resource, and it was scary. Instead of using flashbacks, they used this, which
Mhm.
I think that was very cool as well.
Yeah.
We should talk about the production design.
Yeah, sure. Why don't you start?
I like it. I really like it. I like the art installations that they put. I like Anthony's art before descending into madness and after descending into madness. I actually prefer his scary portraits, but but his art critic girlfriend doesn't agree with me. She hated those portraits, but I thought they were very cool. And I also like the costume, the suit of a painter. It looks very cool. And I like that in this film they used a little bit of body horror, and how his bee sting started suddenly morphing all his body, and he started becoming this monster sort of.
Mhm.
So I think wardrobe, locations, and makeup all was very cool. What were your thoughts on production design?
Yeah, I like the production design. Like you already mentioned, the art scenes, right? Like how Anthony is just um, projecting how he feels about this whole story into his paintings. I thought that was like really a creative way of telling the story. And I also read that some scenes were actually shot in the Contemporary Museum of Art in Chicago. I thought the locations were good, especially that old abandoned neighborhood, right? Because it brought a lot to the atmosphere of the movie, scary, sketchy place. Yeah, those were my thoughts on the production design. I think it was good. Did you pay any attention to the music?
I paid close attention because I'm a big fan of Philip Glass' score from the 1992 version. That's one of my favorite scores of all time. And I thought this one was good. I thought it worked. I thought it was more contemporary, more like atmosphere instead of melody.
Mhm.
And it was like a good homage. They were repeating some motifs from the Philip Glass score. And I liked it. It's definitely creepy. It definitely sets up an eerie atmosphere. I like the use of chants. What do you think?
I thought the music really um like put suspense into those specific scenes, right? And you know, like in every horror movie, you have to have that effect, right? Like just prepare the audience for something that's gonna happen. And I think the movie plays a big role on that. And it was the case for this movie. So I like it. So why don't we jump to the themes?
Sure. Well, all throughout the film, they keep mentioning gentrification. So that's definitely a theme. And the ending of the film makes it very clear that it's also about Black Lives Matters and police brutality.
Yes, yes, definitely. Especially I felt that last scene where Brianna is in the police car and the lights are just in the audience face. It made me really, really uncomfortable. And I think that's what the movie was trying to communicate. You know, I even have to like cover my face because it was just too much light. And
What would be your interpretation of the film? Like, who is Candyman?
who is Candyman? Everyone is Candyman, right? Like there's not just one Candyman, but there can be a lot of Candymans. Because Anthony was unjustly killed.
Yeah,
And
Anthony was unjustly
Candyman,
killed. He looked
yeah,
like a monster, but he never did no harm to anybody.
exactly. He had good intentions at heart. So I think maybe that's who Candyman is. Someone who has good intentions at heart, but for some reason, someone doesn't want that person to help others, so they unjustly kill him, and then that person becomes Candyman.
So it's hard to decipher what Candyman really is. He seems to be a symbol of all the Black people that were wrongly killed. Candyman, just like George Floyd or Breonna Taylor, these are symbols or reminders that there's police brutality and racism. So I think this new film is trying to make Candyman into that.
Yeah.
I don't understand Burke's character. I don't understand the motivation of Burke. I don't know why he wants to propagate Candyman. I don't know why he wants Candyman to keep living. And he has been living in Cabrini Green for all his life. And he also talks about gentrification. And then he says that Candyman is needed. But why does he feel like Candyman is needed?
I think he sees Candyman as a hero, because that's what I understood at the end of the movie. You know, that Brianna wasn't afraid of saying Candyman, but instead, like, she says it as a way of getting help against the cops, right? So I think maybe that's a reason, you know, because they see Candyman as a hero, as someone who can protect against like injustices.
Yeah. So there was this thing that I found very interesting, and maybe you can tell me your thoughts. But there's the Brianna character. When she was a child, she suffered that trauma by watching her father commit suicide. And her father was an artist. And I found it interesting that when she grew up, she was working with art, right? And then this Burke character, in his childhood trauma, he was doing laundry. And then when he was an adult, he was working at a laundromat.
Yes.
So I thought that was really interesting. Like they kept pursuing their childhood trauma in some way.
Yeah, like they kept doing that to kind of overcome that fear in some way, right?
Maybe. So time for the truth. I like the film technique-wise. I like the directing by Nia DaCosta. I like the performances, the cinematography. But I have two big complaints. The script, I don't know what's up with the Burke character. Maybe I didn't get it, but to me it just made no sense. And I was expecting to be scared. It's a horror film, and I was not scared at all. So for those two reasons, I'm going to have to rate this film with a 6. Slow clap.
Slow clap. Okay, that's good. A 6 is good. I like the movie. It was scary for me, but I think of this movie as, I don't know, like Friday the 13th, you know, like just scary in the moment movies that maybe you'll watch one more time with friends or something. And technique wise, it was all right too. But I'm gonna have to rate this film with a 6.
With a 6, good. All right.
This movie's okay. Go watch it in the movie theater. It's worth it.
So Danny, what are we going to review next week?
Okay, so this was a tough decision. I was between a lot of movies, but I think this channel could use a little bit of music. So that's why for next week, we're gonna review Chicago, directed by Rob Marshall.
Okay, a musical, cool.
Yeah. So this was everything for today. Thanks a lot for watching this video. If you enjoyed, please like, comment, and subscribe. And we'll see you until next time.
Thank you. Bye.